The future did not arrive with a roar. It arrived with a click. A soft, plastic click. The closing of a lid. It was 1981, and somewhere in a dimly lit office, a man snapped shut a bulky gray box with a tiny screen and handle. It weighed nearly 25 pounds. It was slow. It was clunky. It was revolutionary. It was the beginning of the laptop. But to understand the laptop story, we must go further back, to a time when computers were not companions, but monuments. The age of giants. In the 1940s and 50s, computers filled entire rooms. They hummed and glowed behind locked doors. They were fed punch cards like mechanical beasts and cooled by roaring fans. Only governments and elite institutions could afford them. These machines did not travel. They did not bend. They did not sit casually on desks. They ruled from towers of steel. Yet, even then, a question lingered in the minds of dreamers. What if a computer could move? In the 1960s, visionary computer scientist Alan Kay imagined something radical. He called it the Dynabook, a portable personal computer for children, a device you could carry like a notebook, a machine for creativity. The technology didn't exist yet, but the dream did. The first steps. By the late 1970s, microprocessors had shrunk computers from room-sized monsters to desk-sized boxes. The personal computer revolution had begun. Then came 1981. The Osborne 1 entered the world, often called the first commercially successful portable computer. Portable was generous. It looked like a sewing machine with a tiny 5-inch screen, but it had a handle. You could carry it. That changed everything. Soon after, companies began experimenting wildly. The compact portable, the Epson HX20, smaller, almost notebook-like. And then in 1989, something sleeker arrived, the Grid Compass. It had a magnesium case. It folded shut like a book. It looked eerily like modern laptops. NASA even took it into space. For the first time, the idea of computing anywhere, on a plane, in orbit, on a couch, felt real. The computer was no longer anchored. It was learning to travel. The 1990s, the rise of mobility. Then came the decade that changed everything. In the 1990s, laptops shed their awkward weight. Screens grew brighter, batteries lasted longer, hard drives expanded, CD-ROMs spun inside them like tiny galaxies, and a young college student could suddenly type an essay not in a lab, but under a tree. Brands became legends. IBM ThinkPads, black, boxy, and destructible. Apple PowerBooks, sleek and innovative. Dell Latitudes, practical and powerful. In 1995, Windows 95 arrived. The startup sound echoed in dorm rooms, offices, and living rooms. Laptops were no longer luxuries for executives. They were tools for students, writers, engineers, dreamers. The internet soon followed. With a phone line and a shriek of dial-up tones, laptops connected to something larger than themselves, a vast invisible web of information. The world shrank, and the laptop became its window. The 2000s, the world goes wireless. The new millennium demanded speed. Wi-Fi emerged like magic. No more cables, no more plugging into walls for connection. Coffee shops became offices, airports became boardrooms. In 2008, Apple released the MacBook Air. Steve Jobs slid it out of a manila envelope. The audience gasped. Thin was the future. Other companies followed. Laptops became lighter, sharper, quieter. Solid-state drives replaced spinning disks. Boot times dropped from minutes to seconds. Then came a new shift, the netbook era. Small, affordable laptops promised mobility for everyone. Though short-lived, they pushed manufacturers to rethink portability. The laptop was no longer just portable, it was personal. The 2010s, power in your hands. By the 2010s, laptops were no longer compromises, they were powerhouses. Ultra-high-definition screens, touch displays, convertible hinges, backlit keyboards glowing in midnight dorm rooms, creative professionals editing films from cafes, gamers battled online worlds from bedrooms, entrepreneurs launched companies from kitchen tables. Remote work was possible, but not yet essential. Then came 2020, and the world stopped. The pandemic shift. Offices closed, classrooms emptied, airports went silent, but laptops flickered on. Kitchen tables became desks, bedrooms became studios, families gathered around glowing screens for connection, teachers lectured through webcams, grandparents met newborn grandchildren through video calls. In a moment of global isolation, the laptop became humanity's bridge. It was no longer just a machine, it was presence, it was survival, it was resilience in aluminum and glass. Sales surged, innovation accelerated, chips became faster and more efficient, batteries lasted all day, laptops became thinner than magazines, more powerful than supercomputers of decades past, and they continued evolving. Today, the intelligent companion. Now, laptops are infused with artificial intelligence. They adjust brightness to your environment, they filter background noise, they enhance your voice, they learn your habits. They are not just tools, they anticipate. From bulky gray boxes to feather-like companions, the journey has been astonishing. What once required a room now rests effortlessly on your lap. And yet the story is not over. Engineers are experimenting with foldable screens, with holographic displays, with processors that rival entire data centers. Some imagine laptops dissolving into wearable devices. Others envision them merging seamlessly with augmented reality.
But one truth remains. The laptop's greatest evolution was never its size or speed. It was accessibility. It put knowledge in backpacks. It put opportunity in coffee shops. It put creativity in dorm rooms. It put connection in the hands of billions. The future did not arrive with a roar. It arrived with a click. And every time we close a laptop lid, we echo that quiet revolution, a reminder that history is not always written in thunder. Sometimes it folds neatly in half and waits patiently to be opened again.